before, even as a sharp critic of Donald Trump for other reasons, not like the stupid ones. But this is just, look, the guy was just objectively, this is a guy who was, as sitting president, framed for treason. Like framed for treason by his own deep state. Yeah. There's a real deal attempted coup. They all knew he was not involved in a conspiracy 100%. With Russia. Nobody at the CIA or the FBI actually believed that. None of them believed Carter Page was a Russian agent.
They knew he was an informant for them.
The CIA told the FBI that he was an informant for the CIA, and then the FBI said on their FISA court application that the CIA corroborated that he had talked to the Russians. But they left out the part that then he came right back to the CIA and informed them of this.
Isn't it amazing that the deep state and the Democrats framed our democratically elected president as a traitor and foreign agent? They framed him as this. And it's like, that is the normal course of action now for this country. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, look. Deep state framed a sitting president.
Well, Donald Trump was the first presidential candidate, or I should say the first successful presidential candidate who won in any of our lifetimes, who ran unapologetically in opposition to the deep state. Yeah. I mean, like, he ran saying that, like, we were lied into war in Iraq, saying that Obama created ISIS, saying all of these things that were kind of true. I mean, Obama certainly funded ISIS. And so he made enemies of the deep state in a way that none of these other presidents have. Even to me, who's like, you know, I'm pretty against this entire establishment and against every inch of the U.S. federal government. I thought I was surprised that they crossed the line once he was president. I thought it was a crazy line to cross to frame the presidential candidate, Donald Trump, for treason. But when they actually, you had them doing it to the sitting president, even to me, I was like, wow. They're actually going to do this to this guy. And look, they didn't remove him from office. They floated around that idea. And in fact, Andrew McCabe, who I believe was the number 3 at the Justice Department, he talked about this in his 60 Minutes interview, where he says before they suck Robert Mueller on Donald Trump, they all in the Department of Justice in the FBI debated invoking the 25th Amendment. They were like, maybe we could just remove, he like says this, you can go find his words on camera, says this there, that they thought about, well, we could just remove him, but instead we'll just stick this special prosecutor on him and that. And so they didn't remove him, but they did box him in. And they boxed it. What Donald Trump ran on in 2016 was that we should have détente with Russia, that we should get along with Russia. We should stop trying to overthrow Bashar al-Assad in Syria. We should work with Russia to fight ISIS there because we both have a mutual interest there. And why not get along with Russia? Why not move in this direction of being friends? And man, so because they were accusing him of being a Russian agent every day on TV, he could never make a deal with Russia because then that would have been seen as like, oh, look, proof. He clearly is a Russian agent. So then Donald Trump, because he's not Ron Paul and not the great president he was supposed to be, he went out of his way to prove how anti-Russia he was. So he goes, I'm not a Russian agent. I'll show you right now. I'll tear up the IMF treaty. I'll send weapons into Ukraine. I'll do everything to show you how much of a hawk I am on Russia. So it actually did work in a sense where they boxed him into taking the wrong position. And man, if he had been able to do what he was running on, we wouldn't be in the disaster in Ukraine we are today. There'd be 100,000 people who would still have their lives.